should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. Preferably in a residential area.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour. You're tuned in to Hoppe Hour, an hour where Hoppe rants about something. Sit back and listen in. Hoppe Hour is on now. Hoppe Hour is on now.
Yo, what's up? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And for the next hour, I want my show to be the outlet. Maybe you're having a really bad day and you need some entertainment to go into your ear hole. I'm not sure why I said that. You need a way to relax and enjoy the rants that are about to be delivered to you. I hope this is the show for it. Or maybe you're listening on demand and you're in the Howard Franklin traffic and it's an absolute bitch. Or you're in Akron and there's traffic as well. I want to make this show be what makes time go by. But first, you can tweet at me, at Ryan Hoppe Radio, and I will be sure to get it in real time. And also on the phone line is my guy who will be the news reader for today, Ryan Stuprich. What up?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much, dude. So you can tweet at me, at Ryan Hoppe Radio. What's your Twitter handle?
At Ryan Stuprich, Stuprich.
And anybody who used to listen to the show in Chicago, that was like our go-to automatic line. Here's my Twitter, here's your Twitter. Like, didn't you feel like we're back at WNUR just by saying that?
Yeah.
It's like deja vu. All right, call the show, 856-49-HOPPE. That is 856-49-HOPPE, and I will be sure to get the phone call in real time. And listen, we might not be able to take the call if we're in the middle of a rant, but I will be sure to play the voicemail and maybe try and call back. It's not the best setup because we don't have a phone screener, but it's not like we're the Mike Calta show where we're going to be getting 1,000 calls. You know what I mean? Like, we're the little show, so we're fine. Also.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be getting, 100 calls.
Right? And finally, if you have the Hoppe Radio app from Google Play or iPhone, download it now and you can listen to me live and use the chat feature. But I have so much catching up to do because, Ryan, I'm an awful friend. I did this to Louis 2 Live of Dance Factory Radio as well, my original mentor that helped me get into this business. One of them, including him, Mike Olivero, people like that. But what was funny was I kept saying, yeah, Louis, we'll do Hoppe Hour. But then I get like depressed or lazy, and then I reschedule it. Or then I overbook an interview, and then I have to reschedule it. Doesn't it finally feel good? Last week I had Louis on finally, and finally I'm bringing on a panel of talent. It's going to be my news readers. Like, I'm going to bring back Ryan Risky, and I'm going to bring back other people like Neil. Doesn't it finally feel good that we're actually doing a show? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I was on, like a month and a half ago, maybe?
I think it was a lot longer than that, dude. It might have been like December. But yeah, we did a show where it was more of us catching up on the news. You know what I mean? It wasn't really us like doing a show. We were just kind of catching up on old times. So it feels good to bring back the Hoppe and Stuprich show in a way on Hoppe Hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the thing is, too, what I needed from you, why I want to have you on, is because you're very talented at reading the news and bringing commentary as well, because I'm at this point where I want to get a show on the radio sometime. You know, I mean, that's the ultimate goal. That's why we spend a lot of money going to a radio school. That's the ultimate goal, is to make money via podcast, get on satellite radio or get on FM or AM radio. That's the ultimate goal. But there's never been a show ever. There's very few shows. Phil Hendry, Drew Garabo did it for a while, where it's a singular person. Jim Rome does it, Colin Cowherd does it, but it's very singular. It's not very often that you have that. So obviously it's my show, Hoppe Hour, but I'm looking to have a team around me, so it feels good to have you back. So aren't you pretty motivated for this, dude?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's good to bring a lot of people together and do it.
Yeah, man, I could not agree more. So I was looking for the prep. It felt like old times when we used to, just shoot the shit, So the first thing I sent you was about Amy Schumer. And here's my thing before we get to the article. My thing is this. I don't want to burn a bridge in the comedy world. I don't want to get her mad because I've had Nick DiPaolo on. I've had Jim Norton on, Dan Soder, Bobby Sladen, Sam Morrell. I had Eric Nagel on. I've had people on who are legitimate friends with her. And I don't know what you think of her, Ryan, but I really like Amy Schumer. I liked Trainwreck. I like Inside Amy Schumer. I've liked when she's on the radio. But the thing is this. I don't like the vibe I'm getting lately. You're going to read the article, but she got approached by a fan who was jogging. And because of that fan, Ryan, because of that one guy who was bothering her, maybe she was in a really bad mood, but that one fan is the reason why right now she will take no pictures with fans. Before we even get into the article, what is your ultimate vibe on that? I just find it weird.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird because it didn't seem like there was a problem with that before. Like, it didn't seem like there was a problem, but then one person comes up to her and catches her off guard, and she doesn't want to take, like she said she doesn't want to take any photos anymore with anybody.
And it's this. Strange. I get it. All right. And I got a lot of criticism for the few tweets I sent comparing the few pics I'll take at events. I got criticized on Twitter. What I meant was this. A lot of times people that are on the radio, and I'm on the radio occasionally, but this is what I do mainly is Hoppe Hour. I'm a part of shows occasionally. I'm not a part of a show. I just sit in and contribute bits. But what I was saying was the fact that I appreciate each and every person that wants a pic or that talks to me at events. You see the tweets. I appreciate it. And my ultimate goal is to someday be as famous as her. And yeah, there might be the fans. Right now, it's just been behind a keyboard, behind anonymous accounts. You see it, Ryan. I've never had a fan approach me like that. But I promise you with complete certainty, and I promise you, me being so sincere right now, no BS, I promise you, if I ever were to get to a point where you get recognized all over the place, and I'm 6'8", so that might happen someday, I promise you, even if I had a few bad experiences, let's say at a live gig or a live event, I promise you I will never, ever hold a few listeners or a few quote-unquote fans where then I hold every fan accountable. You know what I mean? Like, out of all the people that we have on this earth, all the billions of people, the fact that you're not going to take pics with fans because of one person, I'm not going to rip into her because she has more talent than me. She's better than me. She's good in front of sold-out crowds. But doesn't it just kind of rub you the wrong way, you know?
Yeah, I think it kind of does. It's just a little strange. I do think she's funny, too. And I've seen her show on Comedy Central and stuff. And, yeah, it's just a little it's a little strange. I think it'll be short-lived, though.
I think so, too, because she's getting criticized online. But what I do like about Amy, and what I do look up to about Amy is a lot of times she's outspoken about things, and I'll find it completely false. I don't agree with it. A lot of times she'll do things, and I don't agree with it, or I don't find it funny. But she does not give a crap, dude, what anybody thinks of her. And her confidence is inspiring. That's why I just kind of roll my eyes when she makes these posts about not wanting to take pics with fans. Because it's like, Amy seems like a cool chick you could get a beer with at the bar. You know what I mean? I just don't know why she's going to this level. And I know some people might say we're over talking about it. You know what I mean? But it's in the news, and she put herself out there by putting this on Instagram. Like, I find it odd. So what does the article say?
All right. It says, Amy Schumer says no more fan photos after a man scared her while demanding a picture. And so it says Amy Schumer's taking a firm new policy with fans, saying she won't be taking any more photos with them, and it's all thanks to one particular fan in South Carolina. And so she explained in a Saturday Instagram post that a man who's, I guess his picture is in the post, had run up to her on the street in Greenville, South Carolina, and scared the shit out of her. I guess I can swear, right?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want to a point, but yeah.
Okay. I figured. Scared the shit out of her, and the comedian performed in Greenville Saturday night. And so here's what the caption said. It said, you can put a camera in my face. I asked him to stop, and he said, no, it's America, and we paid for you. So
number one, I get where he's coming from. We are the reason she's famous. The fans that watched the show and saw Trainwreck and see her live. I've seen her live. I've saw her movie. I got to see it before everyone else. Got pre-screening tickets. Like, my point is, I'm a big Amy Schumer fan. We are the reason that she's famous, in a way. Like, obviously, the talent is what prevailed, but us being fans helped. But at the same time, shame on this piece of shit for thinking just because the fans help you get famous mixed in with your talent, that you can go up and bother Amy. Like, yeah. I'm the reason you're famous, so I'm going to fucking try and get a picture with you while she's jogging. Like, what type of a dweeb is that fan? And then I was seeing all these posts. He's trying to play the pity card, Ryan. He's saying, I'm getting death threats. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Of course you're getting death threats. Because people hide behind a keyboard. They really wouldn't do it. So shut your ass, dude. Ridiculous. I actually hate him more. What Amy did annoyed me, and it made me roll my eyes. But this dude is like, feel bad for me. It's like, shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's like he wants more. It's like he's trying to try to get famous off of this, and that's not going to work.
Now, listen. If she tripped him and beat him up and then goes into her nice car and runs him over and then goes on a podcast and makes fun of him, then maybe you have a point. But she would never do it because she seems cool. No one would ever do it. You were bothering her and you're playing the victim card. You were the one who was instigating the problem. Of course she's going to react that way and now want to take a picture with you while she's jogging. I'm pretty certain. I don't know for sure, Ryan. I don't know for sure. I think I saw Shawn Marion here in town at an event last week for the Bone. I didn't know for sure. He may have been with his family. It may have been a Shawn Marion doppelganger, the former NBA player. I don't know for sure if it was him. But you know what I did? I didn't go up. I just said to myself, hey, I have that in my memory bank that I maybe saw Shawn Marion or maybe didn't. I didn't go up while he's with his family and be like, hey, man, are you Shawn Marion? You know, because you don't want to be the guy that bothers them. So it's cool. You saw them, great. But, like, what's that pick going to do? Now, listen. I'm big on getting pics because it's cool. I like it more than autographs, but it's a time and a place. You know what I mean? Sorry, you missed out on your chance to get the pic with Amy. Doesn't mean you get to bother her, but at the same time, Amy, I just don't like that you're holding all fans accountable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a little weird that she was holding the fan accountable, like you said. But, there's always a time and a place to try to get a photo, and this just didn't seem like the right time.
So what else does the article say? Is there anything else to it?
She that was about it for the Instagram post that she wrote, but it says just a few hours before the incident happened, Schumer shared another Instagram video from her Greenville stop, capturing more positive feelings about the city. So I guess she talked about how she likes Greenville, South Carolina. And Schumer elaborated on her Instagram post, writing that she will take photos with nice people when I choose to if it's a good time for that.
See, that's her backtracking. That's her. Somebody said, Amy, you can't have that up there. You know,
right.
That's fine. But I like the idea that she chooses because she's allowed to take the pick. Because think about it this, too. Think about this. You don't know what they could do with that pick. Like, what if she's not looking flattering and she's going in between gigs, she's on 0 hours of sleep, and she doesn't want to take a pic at O'Hare Airport in between flights? You know what I mean? Like, I get where she's coming from, but to criticize the fans, it's like they helped make you. Your talent is obviously what took over and what made you into a huge actress last summer, and you were good in Trainwreck. Did you see Trainwreck?
I saw parts of it. I didn't see the full movie.
For her never being in a movie, it was really good, and she's loyal to the comedy world. She had Pete Davidson, Jim Florentine, Robert Kelly, Colin Quinn. She had a bunch of comedians in the movie. Amy Schumer is a cool chick. I just think at times the things she says makes me roll my eyes, but that's what's charming about her. And that's what I'm coming to like, is she doesn't care what you think at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, that's all I want to say about Amy. There's other things that kind of annoy me about her, but you're not going to win an argument about other things she's saying. This was just kind of what I wanted to get off my back, was the fact that she was mad at all fans. But the more you think about it, I don't side with her. I think the whole thing of blaming the fans was annoying, but at the same time, to recap, this guy was a lot worse because he's playing the victim card. It's like, she didn't run your ass over. You were bothering her while she was jogging, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a bad time to come up to her anyway.
It wasn't like she was ordering coffee at Starbucks. I get it. Maybe it makes sense, but she's jogging. Would you want your boss, douchebag, to come up to you? Would you want your boss to come up to you while you're at the gym and go, hey, did you get those TPS reports in? Would you want your aunt to come up to you and go, remember that it's cousin Nick's birthday next week while you're jogging? So screw you, buddy boy.
Next on Hoppe Hour.
Don't you remember that music, Ryan?
Yes, I do. Yeah, we used to play it all the time.
Back at WNUR 89.3. Those were some good times. So this is basically a reunion show. Call us right now. 856-49-HOPPE. That is 856-49-HOPPE. Tweet at me, at Ryan Hoppe Radio. What's your Twitter handle?
At Ryan Stuprich.
All right, and chat me via the Hoppe Radio app in Google Play and iPhone. Search up Hoppe Radio. You can listen live. You can hear all 130 interviews, blah, 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 and chat me. We will be right back on Hoppe Hour. After this, hang on.
Hoppe Hour. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour.
All righty. Welcome back to Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. Give us a call right now, and I will take the call via Google Voice. 856-49-HOPPE. That is 856-49-HOPPE. Tweet at me, at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Ryan, what's your Twitter handle?
At Ryan Stuprich.
All righty. What's the coverage been like in Chicago? Because that's where you're from. That's where I'm from. So that's how we first met at ICB, a radio school. Just to recap for everybody, I lived there for 21 years and then moved to Cleveland and moved here. So I'm originally from Chicago, and you're up there now. What has the coverage been like on WGN or ABC7, any of the outlets, anything overall? What's the coverage been like for the Flint, Michigan water crisis?
There hasn't been that much news about it and that much of anything really about it. I mean, we sort of know about it, but I feel like no one really thinks it's a big deal because they know it's never going to happen here.
Yeah. what I find weird, too, is this. Like, I get it's not happening in a major city. I get it's not St. Louis or Baltimore, the cities that were under turmoil. I think the biggest problem is nobody's heard of Flint, Michigan, unless you're in the Midwest. It kind of has a cult following for being really ghetto. Like, everyone thinks of, like, Compton or Queens, but those actual areas are actually cleaning up. And Flint, Michigan's in absolute turmoil. Flint, Michigan, Gary, Indiana, Camden, New Jersey. Dude, there's a lot of places in America that are like low-key ghettos that nobody talks about. And I really believe that if this was in any other big city, we would care. But because it's on the top right corner of Michigan, it just seems like nobody cares, man. It just seems like it's like, whatever. We're not in Flint. Whatever. I mean, the governor didn't even care. I'm not going to sit here, Ryan, and act like I know anything, because I've not been up to date with it, but I had Eric Zane, who's a local morning show host in Grand Rapids. The governor isn't very popular. And now he's saying to Obama, I want you to drink the water. It's like, where do you come off, dude? If you really cared, dude, you would have teamed up with Obama, not trying to call his ass out. You know what I mean? Like, when the governor of New Jersey, after Hurricane Sandy, like 4 years ago, he worked with Obama. There's been other governors. The governor of Oklahoma 3 years ago during the tornadoes, he worked with Obama. The mayor of Tulsa worked with Obama during these times. They admit defeat, but it seems like Governor Snyder in Michigan probably has this ego where he knows that he knew too much about it, but he tried to sweep it under the rug, kind of like Roger Goodell and everything he's ever covered up. It just kind of has the vibe that he doesn't want to admit he's wrong. So he wants to be the loudest in Rome where he goes, Obama, you should drink the water, and not take any accountability. Don't you kind of get that?
He drink the water. He should drink the water.
Why don't you chug it? Hey, how about for all the empty buildings and all the crime and all the turmoil and all the poverty in that city, you should have a collection. Everybody in Michigan donate $5 each to Red Cross, and if they can reach a certain amount, you have to do the ice bucket challenge with the water. You have to go swimming in the water and then drink it. If you're such a tough guy, Governor Snyder. But no, you call out Obama. It's like Obama's busy wrapping up his presidency. I don't think that's going to really happen. That's like me calling out somebody in radio saying, come on my show or else. Hey, Ryan Seacrest, you better come on Hoppe Hour or else. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. You know how unclassy and how moronic and how much of a dimwit he comes off as? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just interesting. Doesn't he, think that there's nothing wrong with the water, but all the citizens are getting sick and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like nobody cares. It just seems like even the governor doesn't care. He wants to have all the turmoil and all the negative attention and the spotlight that's been on him, sort of, even though the media hasn't talked about it. It seems like he's trying to put it towards Obama. It's like, and what's weird was this wasn't on the cover of the Huffington Post. None of this has made national headlines. Like, I get it's the election season, and I get that it's not the hottest story ever, but at the same time, dude, what's weird about it is it's a city in America. Say what you want about the city. It's not nice, but it's a city and nobody cares. The media is not talking about it. If the media were to talk about it, something might get done. But we talk about if Donald Trump farted last night, or if Ted Cruz is a weirdo or not, or if Hillary Benghazi, even though nobody can explain Benghazi, and Bernie Sanders hanging out with Run the Jewels. The media is talking about the election, and why aren't the candidates talking about Flint? This is the perfect chance to come to the plate and be a hero. Why doesn't anybody care about Flint, dude?
Yeah, I know. It seems like nobody cares, and of course, the only thing that people talk about is the election. Nobody cares about the Flint water crisis, and it's been going on for a long time, for more than 6 months for sure, and it just seems like nobody cares. including the governor, and that's the guy that should care the most about it.
And there's no reason to get into the article. Let's go into the next one that I sent you. But here's my thing, before we wrap it up, because I don't even want to give this piece of dirt the time and the attention. But I've listened to enough radio in Michigan. Nobody's siding with you. The attention's on you. So what could Governor Snyder do? Be a man and try to fix the problem and drink the water and say, I admit defeat? Or blame Obama like the weak imbecile that you are? And sadly, dude, you picked the second one.
Next on Hoppe Hour.
What's up, Ryan?
All right. Next up here, there was a teacher, and I'm not sure where this was. I think this was in Ireland or something.
Doesn't matter. Teachers are having sex with students all the time. You could say any city ever.
Right. Had sex with an 18-year-old student, touched him sexually during class, and showered with him, and also gave him gifts, including a bike and $1,000 cash to keep quiet.
Here's the best part about, like, growing up and not being a teen anymore. It's kind of creepy. But back in high school, dude, all I would watch is teacher porn, and all I wanted to do was bang one of my teachers because they were the only females that gave me attention because they were paid to teach me. But in my mind, I'm like, they want to bang me. So back then, I really wanted to bang my teachers. But look, you know what I mean? Like, they were the only people that wanted to look at you. All the other jocks were watching cheerleader porn or banging cheerleaders, and I'm the one that's like, I want to bang Miss whatever. You know what I mean? We all have the names. We'd be like, oh, yeah. The bell rings, and then she comes over after the bell rings and goes, hey, Ryan, come over for some extra credit. And then you bang her under the desk. Never happened. But now you're 22 years old, and you go, that's kind of creepy. And what I don't get as well, Ryan, about these teachers, what perplexes me and dumbfounds me about these teachers is the fact that they don't seem to have any common sense or thought that they are going to get caught. You're not getting away with this. Guys always go and talk about who they had sex with. And especially with social media, it's going to get around. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, it's, you're always going to get caught, especially in things like this. You always get caught.
It's sort of like career suicide. You know what I mean? There's nothing positive about having sex with the kids. And if you're that uptight or you've been in that much of a dry spell to the male or female teachers that you really think that you need to get laid by these kids, there's something wrong with you. I'm in a bit of a dry spell. You know what I do? I go on Pornhub and I relax, and then I'm good. That's what every guy does. That's what everybody should do. It relaxes you. I mean, I've never thought about buying a hooker, but I could easily, if I made more money, buy a hooker and bang one if I want to get laid, but I don't because Jill gets the job done. I don't get why these teachers have the need that they have to have sex with the kids and if they think they're going to get away with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, there's all these examples of things that happen. Like, it seems like, there's like more than 10 stories a year about this subject, and everybody just thinks that it's not going to happen, and then it happens to them.
How awkward, dude, do you think it is for the parents when they find out that the kid's been banging a teacher? It's one thing to walk in on your kid banging his girlfriend or your daughter banging the boyfriend or the daughter banging the girlfriend or basically the kid banging a significant other. That has to be awkward enough. But can you imagine when you find out that he's been having sex with the teacher? Like, how awkward must that be with the parents?
It's got to be extremely awkward. I would not want to be in that situation if I was a parent.
I've had some dads, if it's like a low-class family, they'd be like, yeah! Way to go, Jimbo!
I bet they would.
So what else does it say? Anything else in the article when it comes to this teacher who had sex with a kid and tried to pay him off? Has it happened to you? 856-49-HOPPE. That's 49 Hoppy. Let me know if you have ever had sex with a teacher, or you're a teacher and you want to call in anonymously.
Yes, I guess so. So it looks like students, including the alleged victim, would spend lunchtime in her classroom because she would bring in cake and was a cool teacher, according to investigators.
Now, was she using the cake in some areas, or was this just a way to have foreplay? Like, let's eat some cake.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming the cake was so there's besides eating it.
That's really bizarre. Maybe she had some ritual where sweets gets her going. It's very bizarre. It wasn't like they had lunch. And I love how they're doing this during class. Oh, man, Hoppy of 2009 would want this to happen. Oh, that would have been the best thing ever. Now in 2016, it's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I guess after the student turned 18, he and her teacher allegedly swapped phone numbers and started messaging each other on Snapchat. So they were using Snapchat. And I guess last November, the English teacher picked up the student in her car and drove him to the park, and she performed oral sex on him there.
What a moron! What a dummy! What an idiot this teacher is. Not just because she's giving oral to the kid, but you're doing it at a park. I'm pretty sure that another charge probably got put on there. That's a sex offender crime. You can't perform sex acts at a park. What's so bad about going to your apartment? I'm not encouraging it, but if you're going to get caught, you might as well try not to have that other charge. That's a bad charge. To have sex at a park, that's not a good thing, Ryan.
Right, and here's something that's even more awkward. She allegedly made sexual comments to the teenager in class and is even accused of touching him sexually during a lesson. And what do the students think? That's what I want to know. I want to know what the other students think of that, because that is unbelievable. Nobody said anything. Nobody cared. Everyone's just like, oh, it's nice that they like each other. No.
I bet everyone was so creeped out and confused. They're like, okay, whatever. I wonder what the comments were where she's like, that's a denominator. A denominator, like last night or something. I don't know. I'm not creative. Just the most creepy comment. How is this going on for so long? How suggestive do you think she got, and how dirty if she's getting away with this in class? I find this odd.
I don't know. She allegedly went to the student's home in January and had sex with him. So I guess that's the first time they had sex. And then also, she was afraid of being caught, and so the teacher then showered the teenager with gifts. Oh, I'm sorry, the teenager was afraid that they would be caught. So then, to keep the teen quiet, she gave him a bunch of gifts.
That's even worse, because you're going to get caught anyway. So what's going to happen is that's extortion. You're going to get caught. What a dummy.
So she gave him a bicycle, new sneakers, clothes, and then $1,000 in cash to keep quiet. Which is unbelievable.
How great would this have been if this happened to us in high school, though, in 2009? How amazing.
And that would be something, yeah.
All right.
But after looking at the picture of this teacher, I'm not quite sure where the attraction was.
Well, I think the attraction is she has a vagina between the legs and she's having sex with you. I think that's kind of the attractive part, dude.
Yeah.
All right, here is the deal.
Next on Hoppe Hour.
Da 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 da. All right. Before we end Hoppe Hour, we're going to do a rant about drunk drivers next. But first, let me let you know about my sponsor, Sully's Graphics of Duluth, Minnesota. If you want to buy some decals made by Nicholas Seymour, go to tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour decal. It's tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour decal. And how about all the guests I have when they hold up the Hoppe Hour shirts? It's brought to you by Speed King Signs. They are at 411 7th Street North in Palmetto at 34211. Call them at 941-628-1506. And simply prepay to T-Mobile. 727-331-1934. 727-331-1934. We will be right back. Hang on.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.
Yeah. I'm gonna burn unless you're there. You're there. I need you to hate.
The bouncer is asking for his permission. This is Hoppe Hour.
Yo, what up, Ryan? Guess what, dude?
What?
We have some breaking news that is coming in live to Hoppe Hour.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Wow! We have some breaking news. This won't be breaking for someone that listens to this in a week, but for all 7 listeners listening to Hoppe Hour right now, we have some breaking news that is wow! Wow! Ted Cruz has suspended his campaign. Wow!
I mean, are we really surprised by this?
But he was such a tough guy, man. He was such a go-getter. He was going to use it till the end.
He was such a weirdo, too.
What a piece of dirt. He is the creepiest nominee I have ever seen. I thought Romney was creepy, but that's just because he was a cold, boring person. Like, Romney seemed like a good enough guy. You know what I mean? Romney seemed like an arrogant douchebag. He kind of reminded me of American Dad, the character. You know what I mean? He's very traditional, very uptight, very moral. But he seemed okay. There is something off about Ted Cruz. I swear to God. I'm not going to sit here and talk about politics. I'll do that on Twitter and piss people off. But there's something about Ted Cruz, dude, that is so incredibly creepy. He literally has no personality. He is such a wormy loser. You know what I mean? Like, there's this heckler. Did you see the video? He's like 7 years old. He heckles Cruz.
Yeah, I
He's
did.
like, "You suck!" And Cruz is like, "This is a good opportunity." They talk about how we need to have discipline. It's like, you are such a loser, dude. Obama would be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you see Obama's White House correspondence?
I haven't. Do I need to
They did.
watch it? Is it good?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's a little. I mean, it's biased, obviously, but I think it's pretty funny.
I liked his line. I saw a bunch of memes about where he implied that whoever she is that's going to be our president next year. I was like, I get what you did there, Obama, because she's the only one that's running.
Right. I swear to God, all these candidates left, though, I mean, is there a worse group that we've ever had? I mean, it is unreal.
I mean, what I love, too, is nobody gives Bernie Sanders a chance. And the other thing is, I'm not going to sit here and say I have all the facts, but Obama all of a sudden doesn't seem that bad. You notice that? All of a sudden, all the hate that Obama was getting, oh, he's a socialist, he's evil, he's not American, he's awful, he's a Nazi. Propaganda, Obamacare, he sucks. All of a sudden, Obama doesn't seem that bad. All of a sudden, maybe he's not the greatest president of all time. Maybe he's not even that good of a president. He's kind of like a backup quarterback that just does well enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like a Matt Castle or the other quarterback.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of him, but I think he's better than every candidate right now. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's laughable. And what's funny is I will take Hillary over Trump, and I got into it with this fan on Twitter. The thing is, I'm just taking it off of experience. I get that Benghazi is sketchy. I get that she's a real see you next Tuesday. I get that she's a bitch. I get that she's evil.
Yeah, no question.
But what is Trump? Trump's a celebrity. You're fired. Is that what you're going to say to the foreign countries? Like, we can't possibly sit here and say that he'd be a good president. And then the guy's like, oh, yeah, but Hillary's in it for the power trip. So is Trump. So is Trump. And the thing, at least with Hillary, is she has connections. She's been around politics her whole life so far, going to when she was married to Bill Tonell. That part of her life. She at least knows people. I get that she's hard to work with. I get it. But do you think Trump's going to get along with anybody? No. I'm dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded that Trump has made it this far, and I am dumbfounded that Rubio couldn't even figure out a way. This was such a plausible race. How did you have no shot? How did you let that moron bully you out of the race? How could you be that much of a wussy? How could you be that much of a saltine cracker, so boring and average? How could you let that happen? How? How could you stand there like a man at these debates as that egotistical dirtbag is bringing you down? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping that there's still time for, like, an independent to run or something, because I'll vote for them in a second, because this is just unbelievable. But obviously it's going to be either Hillary or Trump, and, I mean, I mean, honestly, it's scary if either of them are elected.
I don't care. We're doomed anyway. You know what? Bring in Ted Cruz from Idiocracy. Get President Camacho in. I know that's the go-to line, but you've known me for 2.5 going on 3 years now. I knew about that movie before anybody else. I've been saying President Natcher or President Camacho. They care more about this country than any of these dirtbags, than any of these cretins, than any of these morons, than any of these pieces of excrement. God damn it. There's your political analysis as Ted Cruz has suspended his campaign. There you go.
One down, 3 to go.
Oh, man. What if they all just suspend it and they're just like, Obama, you want another 4 years? There you go. Give me that.
It's crazy. Oh, well. I mean, that's America.
Yeah, he said after the Indiana loss today, voters chose another path. Yeah, because Trump can complete a sentence and has a personality. You're a creep, Cruz. Like, I look at you and I get chills down my spine. I look at you and I'm actually uncomfortable. I look at you and you're such a loser, dude. You know?
Yeah, he's very strange, and of course there's all those rumors that he's the Zodiac killer and everything. It's unbelievable.
We gave it everything we got, but the voters chose another path. I've said that I will continue as long as there is a viable path to victory. Tonight, I'm sorry to say, that
there
path
hasn't been a viable path to victory for him since he got in the race.
And he says, too, that path has been foreclosed. Who the fuck says that? You know how robotic and unhuman and moronic you sound? That path has been foreclosed. What are you even saying? Say that path has been destroyed. That's why these politicians are such dirtbags. They can't relate to us. Ryan, my path with Rover's Morning Glory was foreclosed after St. Patrick's Day. Who the fuck says that? Ryan, after ICB, our path was foreclosed. After high school, who the fuck says that? Just because you went to Harvard and you're smarter than us doesn't mean that you using big words comes off smart. It comes off like you're a desperate robot with no personality. And that's why your campaign's done, Cruz. It's because you're a weird guy. On your Twitter, it says blah, blah, blah. Trust Ted, hashtag this. And then it says avid fan of iPhone games. Wow! You can relate to us. Ryan, he plays iPhone games, man.
Well then he must know what he's talking about.
He plays Angry Birds, and I bet he's like the guy that goes, I got the double power. Like, he gets really into the games, and his wife is just like, oh my God, we've had missionary sex our whole marriage. I got the triple power. Cruz just seemed like a really creepy guy. There was a video, too. I don't know if you saw it. It's where they have all these outros of him trying to make commercials with his, like, nieces and his kids, too. And he's like, just kiss me on the mouth real quick. And then he was seen in public getting out of an airplane, like a private jet. And he's like, let's say his kid's name is Kimmy. He's like, hey, Kimmy, just give me a little kiss.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did see that. I thought that was very creepy, too.
Wasn't that weird?
Yeah, and he also has some, like, weird story about buying, like, hundreds of cans of soup or something when he first met his wife. I don't understand the story.
Wait, what?
I'm serious. There was, like, some story that him and his wife were telling about how he bought, like, a bunch of soup, and soup's, like, his favorite food, and he's just, like, loves soup so much. Like, his favorite food is soup.
I got it here. This is from Gawker.com. After his honeymoon, Ted Cruz immediately bought 1,000 cans of soup.
Yeah, I told you.
Oh, my God. I have the audio, too, right here. This is fucking great. All right. Ted Cruz talks about soup to Anderson Cooper.
You talked about your wedding night in cans of soup. What? For those who didn't see that, can you explain this?
I will explain. You know, this was an experience at the beginning of our life together, and so I did recount it to Megan the other day.
That's where it was. Yeah.
You know, I grew up in California, in a home where my parents spent a lot of time outdoors.
First of all, he just looks so creepy. Like, he's just looking at his wife, and there's no affection. Say what you want about Obama, but whenever they're seen together, you can see the love in their eyes, you know, or with the Bush family, or he's just so weird. What a weird marriage.
So we had our own garden, we grew our own vegetables, and my mom did a lot of things that were homemade. So when I married Ted, we got back from our honeymoon, and he went off to the store and came home by himself.
His wife kind of looks like a Bruce Jenner or a Caitlyn Jenner if Caitlyn Jenner was a woman and was hot. It's weird. She has a very lizard-looking face. She looks like one of the villains from, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. She looks like a villain that would crash land into Carl's property on Aqua Teen Hunger Force and bother Frylock. She has a very weird Adult Swim cartoon-looking face.
And I was completely shocked to see that he arrived back at our apartment with literally 100 cans of Campbell's chunky soup. I'd never bought 100 of anything.
All the same?
All, well, different
kinds.
Oh,
different kinds.
Yeah, you gotta have some chicken, some beef, you know.
Okay.
This.
Gotta have that soup.
Dude, I have soup probably 4 times a year. When I'm low on the bills and I don't have a lot of money, I go, I'll buy soup. But you have money, Ted. Let's buy soup.
Was shocking to me. So
speaking of soup, ridiculous. The same could go for Dorito bags or anything. I will pay money to have a full bag of chips, and I will pay money to have soup with actual meat in it. Have you had soup recently? If you get, like, let's say, a double burger soup, like Campbell's, there's like 4 pieces of meat, and then it's all liquid. Like, what am I eating?
Yeah, I know. I haven't had soup in a while, but yeah, it's always upsetting when they don't put, like, anything in it, especially with, like, clam chowder or something. There's, like, no clams in it. It's just, like, all potatoes.
God, I wish you were here to see Ted's face. He's just such a weird-looking guy. Because I usually don't look at him. Because, like, here at work in the break room at Cox Media Group, they'll show Bay News 9, which is like the 24/7 news channel, kind of like CLTV in Chicago. And they'll often show, like, election footage. And whenever Ted Cruz is on the screen, I literally turn. So this has been the longest I've looked at his creepy face. And God, I'm glad he dropped out. It might sound shallow, but I would rather look at Trump doing speeches than this guy.
Yeah, because, I mean, at least he's entertaining. I mean, he's annoying, but he's also entertaining.
All right, back to the clip.
We had a tough conversation about it, and I said, you don't buy 100 of anything, much less canned soup. Well, we can't do this. I'll be making things. And he said, no, I know you won't be making things. And so the next morning, it was a weekend morning, I loaded up our car.
You have to see this, too. I'll send you the link. He's just giggling at everything she says, and it's so weird. He has no personality and no swagger. He's just like... He has this weird vibe. It's like he's not human. It's like they're both aliens. And it's kind of like they were in a bunker, like the one in Cleveland with Amanda Berry. It's like as if they got out of the house after 15 years of being hidden. I saw Amanda Berry when I went to Roverfest in 2014. Yeah, in 2014 when I went to Roverfest, or 2013, whatever. When I went to Roverfest in Cleveland and I saw Amanda Berry and she was up there, she was in front of a crowd of 17,000 people in Cleveland, and she seemed more comfortable than Ted Cruz. And this guy was trying to run for president. All right, back to the clip.
Before he woke up and returned every single can. And when I got home, I called my mother just to make sure I'd done the right thing as a newlywed.
Can you imagine going to the grocery shop and just returning 100 cans of soup? How weird. Yeah, my wife's making me return the cans of soup.
Well, it also is just like the weirdest story to have like on television. Like, why is this like such a big like story, and why is it like so funny to them? Like, it's only funny to them. It's not funny to anybody else.
I find it funny just because it's fucking creepy. There's something about it that is weird.
Yeah. Oh, it's really fucking creepy.
Like, if he bought pizza rolls, you'd be like, okay, I got it. He's a fat loser. But cans of soup.
And she emphatically disagreed with me. And so when Ted opened the pantry, I had to tell him quickly that I would go back and buy those cans again. She said, in fact, are you going to cook every night? We were both working at the time, and I'm really not a good cook, Anderson. I've tried. I've burnt those things. I think the last time I tried to make...
We're both terrible cooks.
Pasta and
that is not...
What a surprise. You don't seem like the culinary professional, Ted. You can't even speak in front of a crowd when that's supposed to be your job in the future, being a public speaker for the world. If you can't do that, I don't think you're going to be making fancy salmon meals on the weekend. You know what I mean? I don't think you'll be making a fresh steak from the grill. He doesn't seem like a very fancy guy. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's for sure.
Either one of us.
So she said wisely.
Know what your strengths are.
She said wisely, it is not your strength. I cleaned my mother's house growing up. I can clean a house like nobody's business, but I'm not a great cook. Yeah. So she said, since you probably won't cook a lot for him, you should let the man eat his dinner.
What a boring family. She can't cook.
It's the same family who like makes their kids go to bed like at 7:30 at night.
And their favorite
TV,
show,
like after 4 o'clock.
They love Jeopardy.
Yeah.
They like DVR every Jeopardy episode, and what a weird fucking family. And they just listen to religious radio, and they just, what a weird guy. Just the whole marriage. And she's pretty hot in a way that I would have sex with her because I'm into MILFs. But she has this vibe where it just seems like he brainwashed her. Like, I would do anything. If there was ever a time machine, I wouldn't want to go back to see any of my grandparents or my dad. I want to see their first fucking date. So, how's it going, Greta? You look pretty. You know, I like you look pretty. I like my feelings around you. You make me comfortable. Oh, thanks, Ted. Yeah. I'm a man of my word, Stuprich. I like you. I had this thing about me that it's kind of weird. I like soup. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really awkward in public, and I have these dramatic pauses because I don't know what to say, because I don't have social skills, so I have to think about things, because it's kind of like a robot that's outdated. You got to kind of update it. That's what the Thanksgiving dinners are going to be like with your family. Give you a heads up, you know. And she's just like, oh, my God, it's the first time a guy's not trying to fuck me on the first night.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I like to wait till marriage. I'm very traditional. I'm a very moral guy, you know, Ryan? I'm very moral. How great would it have been if those accusations were true about him banging those girls that came out last month?
Yeah, I don't think there was any way that those were true. He's too weird to have something like that be true, but yeah, that'll be something.
I feel like he has no sex drive. I feel like he actually does not watch pornography or listen to dirty rap. I feel like there's just something about the guy. He's got narcissism. The one thing I didn't like hearing about him, too, was his former interns and former employers said even if he was 100% the right candidate, they wouldn't vote for him because he has, like, no social skills and because he's unlikable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think almost everybody in the Republican Party hates him because he doesn't, like, because he's so out there. And, like, he's not even a Republican, really. He's very strange.
I just don't get how these politicians, I don't get how they have no, like, social cues. I don't get how you can be that boring and robotic. Like, Obama's the coolest president we've ever had, and he's not even that cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Clinton was like a dork who got head from a chubby chick. Like, we cheer him. But Clinton's pretty cool. Like, he was giving her insertion using a cigar. Like, only Clinton would do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Here's the deal. We have reached the point of the show.
Hoppe Hour is about to end. But first, it's time for Last Call.
I appreciate everyone that listened and sent us tweets. All right. I think we need to do this more often, like once a week, have a panel of talent. Because I really like the vibe of the show. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Where can people find your work online?
You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Stuprich. You can follow or take a look at my website, ryanstuprich.wordpress.com. Everything is on there from the sports show I do, Sports Renegade. And that's with Ryan Risky. And, yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Go to the app shop, Google Play or iPhone, search up Hoppe Radio. You can hear all 130 interviews I've done in the last year. You can chat me live when we do the show. Tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio, RyanHoppeRadio.com, RyanHoppeRadio@gmail.com. Yeah, I'm trying to build a show around me. This was a lot easier and a lot more fun. Because you go from talking about Flint, Michigan, to then talking like Ted Cruz. It's a lot easier when you have a co-host, you know?
Right.
And I'll definitely bring you back. But this show has been brought to you by Solis Graphics. Go to tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour Decal. It's tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour Decal. Also, Speed King Signs in Palmetto. They are the company that made me those shirts that I've had the guests wear. They can be called. And you can give them a call at 941-628-1506. It's 941-628-1506. And simply prepaid a Gulfport. Go there, say that I sent you, and they will give you a badass deal. It's at 5014 Gulfport Boulevard South in Gulfport, Florida. 727-331-1934. That's 331-1934. And the last sponsor that made the show possible was animations made by Eric Demery. He has made cartoons for the Opie and Jimmy Show, for the Bonfire on Sirius XM. Ryan, did you see that? I put it up like a month ago. A pic of me talking into the mic.
Yeah, I think so.
He made that. So,
Okay.
if you want to connect with the show, all the ways we just said is the way to do it. Let me see what the Lightning game. I want to see if they're winning. I really hope they win this series.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are tied 3-3 in the third period with 10 minutes left. I might have to go to the bar next door and watch the game. Ryan,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun having you on. Let's do it again soon.
All right. Sounds good.
This has been Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.